If there's going to be one video you watch from us throughout the entire year, this is the one. This video was specifically made last year to just summarize all of our top must-own players for this year's fantasy hockey season. If you've procrastinated your draft prep, if you just haven't been keeping up with our content, if you don't have time to watch every single one of our videos that we've posted in the past, basically month of September and just beyond that, this is the most important video for you guys. These are our top 10 must-own players for this year's fantasy hockey season. We're getting right into it, guys. Matt Boldy, one of the hottest goal scorers down the stretch. He had 15 goals in his last 19 games in the regular season with Minnesota. Mind you, this did happen while Kaprizov was injured at the time, but to me, this is a positive. This just proves to me that Matt Boldy can be an elite player if he's given the opportunity of playing more minutes. I think Boldy has point per game and 35-plus goal upside this season. If he plays with Kaprizov, he could explode even further, but he's an incredibly good, talented young player. He was always a highly touted prospect, and now that he's established himself as an elite player in Minnesota, I'm expecting big numbers from him this season. Up next, we have Andrei Svechnikov of the Carolina Hurricanes. There's just so much more to his game that we don't get to see because he has been plagued recently with the injury bug. I'm really excited for him this year, guys, but we have to pump the brakes a little bit and remember that he is coming off of an MCL surgery, so it might take him a little bit to get back up to speed. So if he's not, just an absolute stud out of the gate, do not panic. Please hold this guy. He's going to be good this year. He might just need a little bit more time to rev up the engine. Svech is one of the best combo meal guys in the NHL in terms of goals, points in general, really, but goals specifically, shots and hits. If he ends up playing a full 82 this year, expect at least 250 shots, 180 plus hits, and I'm anticipating he hovers close to a point a game this season. This is the year that he finally hits those upward point totals as well too. I'm expecting him to be anywhere past 75 to around 80, 85 points. Jonathan Huberdeau could be the biggest draft steal of the year just because purely of his ADP. In 4 of the last 5 seasons, he's been over a point a game. He is so much better than what we saw last year in terms of that massive slump that he had where he was just around the 55-point mark. And I know what you're saying. Well, he's been in Florida for all 4 of those years. He's been bad in Calgary. He doesn't fit the scheme. I hear you. I understand what you're saying. But you got to remember that he went from playing on one team for his entire life to a brand new team. It's going to take a slight adjustment for him to gain some new chemistry with his line mates. And on top of all of that change, you've got a coach that doesn't like the way you play and played you under 17 minutes average time on ice last year. I don't buy it at all. I'm here for the Jonathan Huberdeau revenge tour. He is my #1 league winner this year. Rounding out our forwards is Cole Caufield of the Montreal Canadiens, another guy that just could outright win you your league based off of his ADP. There aren't many guys in the NHL that can score 40 goals in general, and you're potentially getting Caufield in the 10th to 11th round just based off of his ADP. We all know Caufield's biggest issue has been his health. He just needs to stay healthy. The shoulder just needs to hold up. We know the Habs are going to be bad again this year, but it's fine because Caufield is going to be playing with Nick Suzuki. The stat line that justifies him as being an absolute must-draft player and could even be a league winner for you guys this year is over the last 2 seasons in Montreal under head coach Martin St. Louis, Suzuki's had 48 goals and 71 points in his last 83 games. Moving on to defensemen, we have Evan Bouchard. I touched on him as being just the biggest tap-in in terms of fantasy hockey this season. Everything is set for a massive breakout year for Bouchard. He was over a point a game after Tyson Barrie was traded from Edmonton last season, and he was over a point a game during playoffs. Bouchard was #1 in the NHL during playoffs for power play points. He had 15 power play points in 12 games. His power play totals this year could go absolutely insane. He has solid peripheral volume as well too. He should be around 100 hits, 100 blocks. His shot volume is going to be pretty decent, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if he hits around or even above the 70-point mark this season. Bouchard is in for a monster breakout. Speaking of guys that broke out, Mikhail Sergachev still has upside to his game even after last season's breakout. He was the power play 1 defenseman on Tampa down the stretch when they were heading towards playoffs and even in playoffs as well too. Tampa was also a top 3 power play team last season, as you can see based off of Sergachev's previous year's totals. He's got great peripherals, plays a ton of minutes, and is finally getting the offensive looks that he deserves. There is a little bit of a slight concern with Victor Hedman, but I think the Sergachev takeover is for real and should be the power play 1 defenseman for this year's upcoming season. Another guy with still a lot of upside in his game. We all know John Carlson is going to finish well above his ADP after the season is done and over with. We know exactly what John Carlson is at this point in his career. We also know that last year's injury was a complete fluke, and there is no need to worry about that going forward. He's going to live in that 60 to 70 point range with around 180, 190 shots and over 110 blocks with a healthy share of passing to OV on the power play. We love Zach Werenski this year. You're getting him at such a discount because of last season's injury. That's been pretty much the only concern with Werenski, is the fact that he can't seem to stay healthy and never ends up playing a full season. But given his ADP, I think he is a must draft defenseman. 48 points, 216 shots, and 95 blocks in only 68 games the year before last season. He's a power play 1, line 1 defenseman that plays a ton of minutes and hasn't really had the opportunity to settle in with all of the offensive talent that is now in Columbus. I'm expecting him to get back to those totals that he had a year before, with a high shot volume and a 50-point defenseman with a lot of power play upside. Our first of 2 goalies is Jacob Markstrom. Yes, he had a bad year last year with an .892 save percentage and barely being above 500 in the wins column, but that's why he's such a steal this year, guys. You're getting him at such a massive discount. Just look at his ADP. He's never been below a .904 save percentage in the last 7 seasons. Outside of last year, of course. He's also a lock for playing 60 games, it seems like, in Calgary. I'm not worried about Vladar. I'm not worried about Dustin Wolf just yet. I think he's an absolute bounce-back candidate this year, very similar to Jonathan Huberdeau. I'm here for the revenge tour. Jacob Markstrom is an elite goalie that you're getting at a very, very discounted price. Devon Levi is up next, and this is a fun pick I wanted to include, but should be taken just as seriously as everybody else on this list. He looks like the clear-cut #1 goalie out of camp, so the concerns about him potentially starting in the AHL due to the Sabres having 2 other waiver-eligible goalies should just be ignored at this point. The big question with Levi still remains is how much volume is he going to get this year? If it's anywhere over 60% starts, Levi could be an outright league winner this year just based off of how talented this guy is. Guys that come from the NCAA just don't ever seem to jump directly to the NHL. They always seem to play time in the AHL. So that just shows you how much of a pedigree Devon Levi has as a goaltender. He is going to be elite. And like I said, if he gets 60% of the starts, he's going to be an absolute league winner, guys. He had over a .929 save percentage in 4 of the last 7 games in Buffalo last year when they were pushing for the playoffs. And if their defense can just hold it together, Devon Levi is going to be an absolute stud. That will do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're drafting this weekend, we know a lot of you guys are. That's why this video is going out now, so you guys have time to prep. Good luck in your guys' drafts. Check out our other content for more specific, more in-depth, detailed breakdowns for specific categories like sleepers, must-own wingers, centers. We have everything for you guys ready to go with lots more content still coming out this week and the season just starting around the corner. So thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. I will see you in the next video and have yourselves a fantastic rest of the day.